Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and I am a health coach. I want to welcome you to my podcast, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This is a weekly show that will share lifestyle changes that you can make to support your health yourself. Why do I want to share this information with you? 7 years ago, after being a business owner for 20 years, I woke up one morning in horrific pain where every bone and every joint in my body hurt. I went to the doctor. She ran lots of tests, and then she ran some more, and then she ran some more, and finally she called me and announced she was going to give me steroids, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and I should seek therapy. I knew something was wrong. I hurt. So she told me I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, and I refused that I was going to have a life of pain and pills. So why was I going to take steroids if there was nothing wrong with me? So I dug in and started researching, and I turned my business over to my staff. I found a functional doctor who confirmed that I had autoimmune disease. By making a series of significant lifestyle changes that I could do for myself, 5 years later, I had returned to relative health. The best part is that I am now 70, and I feel better now than I did when I was 50. I no longer hurt, which is huge. I will always have autoimmune disease, but losing the pain has been amazing. I went back to school at 67 and became a health coach because I want to share everything that I learned with others. And I wrote a book called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, as the manual I wish that I had had when I got sick, and my book has won 13 awards. So whether you want to future-proof your health and grow old with dignity and grace without dementia and chronic pain and disease, which you don't need to get, or whether or not you already have a chronic condition like autoimmune disease or cancer or heart disease, and you want to learn about what things you can do to improve your long-term health, or whether you want to improve the health of your families and raise healthy children, because 53% of our children have a chronic condition, I look forward to sharing all this information with you. I will tell you, it truly does feel good to feel good, so let's get started. I look forward to having you join me here every week, and I want to give you hope that if you have chronic pain or chronic disease, you can make changes that will improve your health, and if you don't want to go there, you're going to be fine if you listen to the show and put these things into work. I want to give you information so that you can grow old and have a better tomorrow. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer. I am otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and this is another edition of It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This podcast is going to be a little different than some of the subjects that I have covered previously, but in the end, I'm going to tie it all back together. We're going to talk about energy and colors today, and we're going to start with the energy of the 7 chakras, all of which have a specific energy that relates to a specific color, and it's important to understand what those colors mean in the body and how they then come back and relate to everything else in our marvelous, colorful world. So I'm going to start off with the fact that all life is energy. And so chakras are energy centers. And I'm going to talk about what the chakras are in case you're not familiar with them, because they go back to ancient times and have popped up in several ancient philosophies from all over the world. And I learned a lot of things while I was studying this as well. 30 years ago, I actually named a business Chakra Design. I was a jewelry designer. I had my own jewelry business. And so our logo was a lotus, and I did some studying about chakras and discovered that they showed up not only in Sanskrit, which is India, but that American Indians saw the same colors and noted them on dolls as they did in India. And then that there were some African tribes that also saw the same colors in the same main 7 spots of energy vortexes on their dolls. And I became really fascinated that that must mean that it was a universal truth. And now I have even more to share with you of where this was prominent in ancient civilization. But we're going to cover the whole subject and then tie it all back together with health. Chakras are energy centers. They're said to be energy vortexes that actually run along our spine, and they normally move in a clockwise direction. You can find vortexes everywhere in creation. In our body, there are vortexes in our blood. There are vortexes in our cells and veins and arteries. And even the sap of plants and quartz crystals have small vortexes. These creations of God bring balance, release toxins, and cleanse. There's supposed to be hundreds or even thousands of minor chakras in the human body, but also elsewhere in nature and in creation. But today we're going to focus on the 7 main colors that are primary colors that can be found throughout creation. These vortexes both draw in and then release energy. Just as your body releases the food that you eat, the chakras release excess energy. Things can affect how these centers function, including emotions, trauma, and toxic overload. Chakra imbalances cause issues in the physical body. This is one reason that healers stress the importance of prevention and whole health maintenance. A physical injury can also cause an energy imbalance. Now, you know how toxic our world is. We're living literally in a toxic soup. And if you want to understand better how that impacts the human body, go back and listen to my 3 podcasts on the liver, because the liver is the clearinghouse for all of the toxins, whether they're from our air, they're from our food, they're from our cleaning products, they're from our perfumes, they're from our fragrances. Wherever the toxins are, they all have to eventually get through the liver. So we got to keep the liver healthy, because the liver does a really great job until it can't keep up anymore. So you need to understand exactly how your liver functions and how all these toxins impact your liver. But your chakras are also important for clearing out all the toxins, not only spiritual toxins, but also physical toxins. So that's where we're going with this today. Colors represent frequencies and vibrations. The chakra system associates a different color to each of the functions that take place in each center. Generally, chakras can connect to food, herbs, and crystals of the same color. They link elements of the earth. Now, what that means is if we're talking about your root chakra, which is red, that also relates directly to red foods. So I want you to think in terms of red, how seeing red relates to your root chakra, how eating red relates to your root chakra, and vice versa. And all the other colors of your 7 chakras do that. And I once had somebody say to me that they were a Christian and that this didn't belong together, and that it was kind of anti-religious to be talking about this. Well, I actually found references where Christians believe in the chakras and the different vibrations of color. So we're going to tie all that into this as well. There are threads that run through all spiritual philosophies, and Christianity is no different. So, chakras and the colors of the chakras link to elements of the earth as well. Organs, body systems, and soul aspects of a person connect to the designated energy vortexes. This is from a non-woo-woo guide to the 7 chakras. Starting at the root, I'm going to start at the root chakra because that's the first chakra, and work up to the 7th chakra, which is our connection to the spirit. The first chakra is the root chakra. That's where our basic needs reside, and that connects down to the center of the earth. And that's where it's for survival. And that red chakra that spins and the energy it creates the feeling of I feel. It's our basic root needs, and they're important. The second chakra is our sexual chakra. It's creativity, and it is I feel, and it's orange. It relates to our hormones and lots of other things. So we're going to go into each of the chakras and what they rule in depth as we get into this conversation. Our third chakra is yellow, and it's our solar plexus. That's where your gut feeling comes from, but it also directly relates to digestion and your actual gut. And your gut is one of your brains. So if you get a gut feeling, you need to pay attention to it because it's probably picking up some kind of accurate energy that you can relate to and you can act on. And your solar plexus is that yellow vortex that creates that energy. And it is the chakra of power and I act. The fourth is the heart chakra. Now, when you go to the fourth chakra, your first three are all related to your basic needs. The heart chakra is where you connect to your higher chakras and your lower chakras. Your higher chakras are all connected in some way to your spirit. Your lower chakras are all related to survival and your basic needs. And then your heart chakra, the green chakra, here is your spinning vortex that is I love and for compassion. It relates directly to green foods, and it is green in color. Your fifth chakra is your throat chakra. Now, the way I was trained is your throat chakra opens in the front and the back. The rest of the chakras pretty much are energies that, although they run on your spine, they open to the front. Your throat chakra is communication, and I express. It's where your truth resides. It's where you speak your authentic self. And it's your fifth chakra, and your spinning vortex refers to aquamarine foods, which are a lot of sea plants, and it is your truth, so it's important, and that energy needs to stay as cleared as your other energy needs to stay. Next up is your sixth chakra, which is your third eye. And that's where your imagination is, and that's where I see lives. It is a kind of reddish purple color, and it refers to purpley foods, which are the same energy as the energy coming out of your soul, of your third eye. And then the top one is your seventh chakra, which is your crown chakra. It is knowledge, it is I remember, it goes directly to the universe, and that's where your spirituality connects with the universe and with whatever your higher power is that you believe in. The seven chakras represent certain points in which energy flows throughout the physical body, organs, and systems. They are portals both to receive energy and they are transformers of energy. And we are all made up of energy, as are plants and everything else in our universe. Your body might feel solid, but the reality is we're made up of cells, which are composed of atoms, which are made up of energy. Ancient traditions speak about different kinds of energy that flows through and works in living beings. In Asian traditions, this energy is called qi or ki or qi, ki. I know I've done I was a lit major, so I read a lot of books that also talked about Asian philosophy. And depending upon which country I was reading about, this same energy had different names. So it's all part of the spiritual, physical movements, the Tai Chi, the karate It's called Different Things in Different Asian Countries, and they're all related to learning how to use the chi energy. Energy flows through a connection of pathways called energy meridians. We have a web of energy meridians, and there are actually more than 100 different vortexes in our body, even though we're only going to concentrate on the major 7 today. And they think that there might even be more than hundreds. There might actually be thousands of little vortexes everywhere throughout our bodies. Think of meridians as roads that connect to a roundabout that controls the flow of traffic. Chakras function like roundabouts. So the energy comes down the meridian, goes around the chakra, and then continues down the road. There are various maps created of the chakra system. There are actually thousands of complex channels and points. So I want you to think in terms of acupuncture, acupressure, and meridian points, as well as major central and side channels. Although there are 7 main chakras, there could be as many as 114 that are major enough to note. This includes the above and the below in our physical body, our cellular body, and our astral body. The 7 main chakras run along your spine, but they show up on the front of you as well. And they start at the root, which I just mentioned, which is the base, and they extend all the way up to the crown of your head. A couple of decades ago, it was believed that only these 7 vortexes were worthy for spiritual development. However, recent scientific studies have proven just the opposite, uncovering several regulatory chakras in the human body that are deeply related to human psychology. Scientists observed several regulatory networks in the human body deeply connected with immunity, health, mental peace, emotions, and happiness. I'm always amazed at what complexity exists in nature. Our bodies are unbelievably complex, and they relate to everything else that's in our universe. And we need to see what the connections are and utilize them. And so that's partly why I wanted to do this podcast. When these 7 chakras are functioning well and the energy is flowing properly between them, then we have health in both our mind, our body, and our spirit. However, if our chakras are functioning improperly or experiencing blockages, we will notice how it affects our lives through our feelings, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. It can stop you from manifesting what you want in your life. These blocks can hinder you from getting your financial or your work or business success. They can block you from getting your relationship success. It's important to keep all this energy flowing freely, because that's when you're healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually, so that you can lead your healthiest life. Someone just described the meridians as channels, and we have little energy boats that travel down them. If the energy gets stuck, the boat runs into a dam, and it has to get that dam cleared so it can continue on its path. Chakras are the organs of your body's energy system to which every aspect of your health is connected. Extended from the base of the spine to the top of the head, these 7 spinning cycles receive, assimilate, and express your energy. Now, when we get to different philosophies about chakras, you'll discover that our ancient American Indians actually thought that the chakras worked from the top down, not from the bottom up. And so that's how they saw the energy flowing. In reality, the energy flows in both directions. And the way I'm going to end this podcast is by teaching you a meditation that I learned that I use for a variety of things. I use it to release stress. I use it to go to sleep. I use it to clear my chakras, and I can physically tell when I reach one of them with this meditation and it's blocked and what to do about that. We'll talk about what foods you can eat to get yourself into balance. And all of this is important because I want you to live as your best possible self and to live your happiest, healthiest, most successful life. If you're experiencing limitations or challenges in your life, in your relationships, your career, or your health, then it's probably because one or more of your chakras are not balanced. So the key is to keep all of your chakra energy in balance. Now, I'm married 6 years, and I frivolously said one day to my husband, who wants to keep me happy, it's the most amazing thing. I married a man whose my happiness is one of his most important goals. And I mentioned to him that I'd really love to own an Aura machine. Well, I was stunned because he bought it for me, and it was not an inexpensive piece of equipment. And when we come out of COVID, we will be using it again at health fairs because that's what we were doing with it when we first purchased it. I do energy readings sometimes in my office, and it's an amazing machine because it does register your ethereal energy and where you're blocked, where you're gray and your energy isn't the bright color that it's supposed to be. And so it gives me guidance to make recommendations to my client in terms of what they need to do so that their energy flows more properly. And the way we use the Aura machine is we take a reading and then we give them something called a belly button stick, which they put in their belly button and they massage through their belly button. They can massage all their organs. They can massage in the direction of the chakras that are blocked. And the idea of the belly button wand is that we were born through our belly button and we can access all of our meridian lines through our belly button. And I have to tell you, it's really an amazing thing because when we give someone the belly button wand and they use it only for 2 minutes, you can imagine what would happen if they used it for longer. Their colors all get much brighter and the dark gray that's sometimes on the outskirts of their bodies start to dissipate. And they look much healthier just after using it for 2 minutes. We once went to a demonstration of the belly button wand, and you can buy it either on Amazon or I recommend you look for the main maker of the belly button wand because they have some wonderful videos on their site. And when I post this podcast, I will put that website right under it because there's great information there with people giving testimonials about it and doctors who recommend it. But we actually went to a demonstration with Dr. Emerald Mayer, who is the head of neurology at UCLA, and he had his brain machine set up on the stage, and he was kind of poo-pooing it. What is this belly button wand thing? But he started pulling people out of the crowd, and their brain waves were all over the place. And then he gave them their belly button wand, and they sat there for 2 minutes and used it. Just the first time. They didn't have any experience with it. They were just wiggling it around in their belly button. And then they sat back down and their brain waves calmed completely down. That's because the belly button not only rebalances the energy, but it resets their parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a really amazing tool and a great way to start to get all your vortexes working in harmony together. After the first Aura reading, then we make recommendations that include food and exercise and other things. And if the person is a client of mine, then I teach them the meditation that I'm going to do at the end of this. So you're going to get that today as a treat. I use my meditation to clear chakra blockages, to relax my body, to fall asleep, and then to clear negative energy that comes towards me. So I use it as a defense mechanism. I was under attack at one point in my life with a really ugly person that I worked with. And so I actually became an apprentice to somebody who taught me this meditation so that I could protect myself and ward off the negative energy before it interfered with the flow of my chakras. So keep in mind that some issues that people experience can be caused by people around them. An unhealthy person's body can draw energy from an energetically balanced person, leaving the balanced person feeling drained. And if they are somebody who is looking for balanced energy, they seek out the balanced person. So it's good for you to learn how to do this meditation to protect yourself, as well as a way for you to balance your own chakras and to stay healthy within your vortex energy itself. It can block another's negative energy. And when somebody is like that, I actually call them an energy vampire. I don't know if you've ever been around somebody and you just feel so negative after you leave them, and they've interfered with your good mood and your good energy. Well, they're energy vampires. They're not even really aware that they're doing that to you, but it's good to be aware of it so that you can protect yourself. And if you're in any kind of vocation where you're doing Reiki or massage or acupuncture or acupressure, or body work with energy, it's important that you protect yourself before you start doing that on somebody else's body. Healthy, balanced chakras are the foundation for all of your physical vitality, emotional well-being, and spiritual growth. Why is it important to heal your chakras? Your chakras not only reflect where you are now, but you also have powerful energetic switches that reset the course of your life. And you can do that through working with your chakra energy. So what are chakras? Everything is composed of energy, and chakras are where the energies of the mind, body, and spirit integrate and concentrate and then circulate to surrounding areas for everyday life. The word chakra itself means wheel or circle in Sanskrit, reflecting the rotational movement of energy in these vortexes. Chakra refers to the energy centers in your body. These wheels or discs of spinning energy each correspond to certain nerve bundles or major organs. Each of the 7 major chakras found in the human body has a specific energy pattern that matches different aspects in human existence: anatomical, physiological, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Like sensors, they are highly attuned to and respond to the sense of all of these aspects. Chakras serve to regulate and balance these aspects by controlling the energy flow that goes through your body's energy system. And remember, everything in your body is energy. It feels solid, but down at a core level, it's all pure energy. Chakras also act as outlets of energy that allow your body's energy system to plug into the universal power source. This connects to foods, to the color of the rainbow, and it corresponds to the colors of the chakras, and the foods of those colorations can be utilized to balance this energy that's blocked in the chakras. But it's also the colors of flowers, the colors in the rainbow. I want you to completely immerse yourself in the world of color. Color brings me pleasure. It makes my soul sing. So I want you to celebrate all the color in your life and surround yourself with color. Think colorful thoughts. Have a colorful personality. Include colorful people as your friends. Create color in your outer environment. Everywhere you are should be a colorful place that you can intensify all of the colors that the world has to offer, because they will go back and relate to all of the colors in your energy vortexes in your chakras. So they'll make you happy. So sing and bring out the color of your soul. Foods contain a lot of stored energy, and it's chemical energy. So when you eat, your body breaks down these foods into smaller components and absorbs them to be used as fuel. Energy comes from 3 main nutrients, And the last chakra I just posted were on the essential nutrients. So you might want to go back and refresh that. The three main nutrients are carbohydrates, protein, and fats, with carbohydrates being the most important energy sources. And then within that are your minerals and your vitamins and your phytonutrients. In cases where your carbohydrates have been depleted, and for some reason when we hear the word carbohydrate, we seem to think of simple carbohydrates, which are white flours and sugar. I'm not talking about those kinds of carbohydrates. I'm talking about the complex carbohydrates, which is what all of your plant foods are. And so it's your complex carbohydrates that might be depleted, and the body then starts to use protein and fats for energy. Your metabolism is the chemical reaction in the body's cells that change this food into energy. Now, you know I've done several podcasts on giving your body strong, wonderful building supplies so that when your body is rebuilding, it's building from the best possible building supplies it can get. Those are all the complex carbohydrates that your body utilizes for energy to rebuild. The color of the fruit or vegetable tells you what phytonutrient content is in it, and then it also tells you what the corresponding energy of that food is. The colors correspond because they both have the same vibration and therefore can be utilized to balance each other. So you need to eat all the colors of the rainbow, and then your vortexes can help your body utilize that energy to be primary building supplies for your body to pull from. What are the chakras? To function at their best, your chakras need to stay wide open and balanced. If they get blocked, then you experience physical and emotional symptoms that are related to that specific chakra. Although we're learning more and more about the regulatory network of the entire chakra system, even though it's thousands of years old, we are just still learning the significant things that are associated with these 7 main energy vortexes. For purposes of this podcast, we're exploring the 7 major ones because I want everyone to understand how we can balance them, and by doing that, improve our own physical and spiritual health. So red is grounding, stabilizing, and protective. Orange is creative, hydrating, and flowing. And remember that orange is what regulates our hormones, so it's really important. And it also relates our sexuality. It is our second chakra on its way up. Our third chakra is our gut. It's yellow. It's our solar plexus. It's energizing, stimulating, and powerful. Green is our heart energy. It's nourishing, expansive, and harmonizing. Indigo, which is our truth. Actually it's not indigo, it's turquoise, and it's where our truth resides. It's where our authentic self resides. And if we're not speaking our truth, it gets blocked really easily. So it's important that you keep this open so that you can speak your truth. And it doesn't mean that you're caustic or harsh by speaking your truth. It means that you are gently, lovingly, authentically expressing who you are. Indigo, which is the third eye, is intensifying, mood altering, and brain boosting. And then white, which connects us to spirit, is purifying, clarifying, and revitalizing. So, how do you balance your chakras? You have lots of options other than my meditation, which I'm going to teach you, or eating the same color in foods, which is also very balancing. These are the ways that you can go to a practitioner and help yourself get balanced. Make sure that the practitioner you choose is loaded with positive energy, because I have met some practitioners that are energy vampires. So be careful. You want to make sure that you go to people who are practicing for all the right reasons and utilizing their skills for good. And I say that because the first one on my list is Reiki. Reiki is a wonderful practice if it's being done by somebody who's doing it for all the right reasons. Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing and stress reduction that channels the universal life force energy into the body to restore balance. The next one is sound healing. One of the coaches that I'm close with on Facebook went and learned how to use sound healing by utilizing all the different sound bowls with the sticks. And she owns, I think, maybe 20 of them. And she actually does sound healing on clients, which I find fascinating. She lives somewhere in the Midwest, or I would go and have a practice with her because she has a beautiful energy. And to be able to utilize sound healing, because remember, we're talking about energy, and energy is vibration, and sound is vibration. So I'm sure that it's a very healing practice. I also talked to another gentleman who was into Peruvian sound healing, and I have a podcast with him. So I'll make a note of that under this as well, because he'd be interesting to listen to and to contact. It's usually performed by an experienced practitioner through the use of various instruments like flutes, drums, and bells. But it also can be used with bowls, and they make a beautiful sound. Crystal therapy. Now, you don't all know this, but what I did for the majority of my career was I designed jewelry. And crystals also have all kinds of amazing vibrations to them and can be utilized for clearing. Since each chakra vibrates at its own frequency, there are corresponding crystals that are the same color that can also restore balance. Next one up is aromatherapy. By using pure organic essential oils, then we can trigger various physical responses in the body that also restore balance in the chakra system. The next one is meditation. I'm going to teach you my meditation for balancing the chakras, but any kind of mindfulness that you practice or meditation that you practice will help you come into complete balance. I have a podcast with a gentleman named Adam Weber, who has MS, who has helped balance his MS by using meditation. And he has developed his own form of meditation that would also be worth you going back to and listening to my podcast with him, because he uses meditation very effectively. Explore lots of different kinds of meditation because they're all good for you. You get quiet in your body, and by getting quiet and going into your body and experiencing alone time, and that quiet is when you can best connect through your energy system with the universe. Nutritional therapy, which is when I'm talking about using the same color of foods and flavors and herbs to connect to certain chakras. The colors of the chakras and the colors of the food correspond, so we're going to spend the next podcast in depth about what all the colors in the food mean, do, what the phytonutrients are that are connected to them, and why they're also friggin' healthy for the body, because I want you to eat all the colors of the rainbow. And remember, if you're eating a red food that you love, that doesn't mean you don't eat all the other red foods. Each one has different gifts for your body, and even though they're all red and they all have a red vibration, they have other gifts and other vibrations and other phytonutrients as well. So diversity and variety are key. You need to eat all the 7 colors that are in the rainbow of foods, and you need to eat a variety within each color in order to reach optimal health. And then something happens in the body when they all get together fairly close together and they party and they create energy and happiness and health. And then the last therapy to balance your chakras is movement therapy. Through various yoga poses and Tai Chi movements, we can stimulate energy to specific points of the body that correspond with a specific chakra. Movement therapy and energy through exercise and through yoga are also wonderful ways to balance your meridians and your 7 major chakras by utilizing the energy through movement to keep your chakras open and clear. Are chakras real? Now, there may be some people listening to this and going, phooey, this is woo-woo stuff. It is not woo-woo stuff, so let's talk about it. The chakra system actually originated between 1500 and 500 BC, long time ago. That means 3,500 years ago, the chakra system started to be developed. And the oldest text that it is found in is called the Vedas. According to scholar Anodia Judith in her book, The Wheels of Life, knowledge of the chakra system was passed down through an oral tradition by the Indo-European people, also called the Aryan people. It is part of Hindu philosophy. It is part of Buddhist philosophy. It is dominant in every Asian philosophy, and each country has its own version of it. The yoga we do is Tao yoga, which is a Korean version of it. And some of the information that I'm sharing with you today is from their master and the Tao version of chakras. The chakra system was traditionally an Eastern philosophy. The chakra system was bottoms up, with the lower chakras being the earthly chakras and the upper chakras being the spiritual centers. But they do show up in multiple cultures around the world, which I discussed at the beginning of this podcast. Chakras were actually taught to everyone in the myths of Pueblo Indians of the southwestern United States. The Pueblos refer to the chakras as spiritual centers, which directly correlate to physical parts of the body. These centers or points form an axis in the body that's related to the polar axis of the earth. Each center has its own vibration, and these vibrations travel up and down the body's axis, similar to the Kundalini force of the chakras in the Vega readings. Now, there's rumors that the Indians came across the Bering Straits, so there might be some connection of the two philosophies. But by the time we get to Africa, I don't know that those people had any connection with the other people who believed in this, and yet the chakras show up in the same place, in the same colors, in the same ancient artifacts, which I find fascinating. And it doesn't really matter whether they start at the top or they start at the bottom. All 7 of the major chakras in all the philosophies have the same meaning. Now, I would say that that's referring to some kind of universal truth. It's fascinating to me. The first people of creation were given these points to remind them of their spiritual connection to both the Creator and the earth. At the time of the first creation, the poles of the earth had not yet shifted to their current positions, and the earth energy flowed in a different direction than it does now. Therefore, the energy of these chakras moves from the head down rather than from the bottom up. The first of these spiritual centers lies at the top of the head, which is where the soul enters the body upon birth, and then it exits at the bottom upon death. I think that Eastern philosophy sees that in the opposite direction. As a person ages, the center hardens, and the connection with the universal consciousness becomes less recognized. This will explain why young children are more apt to see auras and spiritual beings. Their minds are still open to the possibility that Western culture does not accept as reality. I once had a business partner who had a 3-year-old nephew who at the dinner table would talk about his family from his previous life. He saw them. He had conversations with them. As a small child, I would play for hours by myself and have conversations with imaginary friends. Now that I look back, I wonder, were they imaginary, or was I seeing spirit beings from a previous life or on the other side of the veil? I think children are more open until they're told over and over again by adults, that's ridiculous. You can't believe that. That doesn't exist. And eventually, those spiritual pathways get hardened and the children no longer see them. So it's opening up the third eye that allows us to have sight again. But we are taught that it's not acceptable to see that at a young age, and so we start to shut it off. There are people who have very strong second sight, and they're intuitives. They're very sensitive to energy in general. And so they're pretty amazing human beings, and they can see all kinds of things about your life, what's written in the Askaric records, which is the record of why you came into this world. There's a whole world out there for you to get involved with that sees spiritual energy that's quite fascinating. At any rate, the next vibratory center corresponds with the brain. That's where that's where your third eye is. The true function of this point was to help you understand the plan of the Creator and thus to carry it out. The physical functions of the brain, thoughts, and actions were considered to be secondary to that of the Creator's original plan, which is coming in through the top of your head. Below the brain lays the throat. It's in the same place as it is in the Veda system, and that's your place of speech. It connects humankind to the breath of life in all creation. Through vocal prayers and praises, humans are able to communicate with the Creator from their physical existence on Earth. Have you ever heard American Indians going through their rituals and all of the songs that they sing through their throat? They're connecting their truth through their voice to the Creator. Moving downward, the heart center, the same as it is in the Veda system, as it is in the ancient peoples of America, the heart center represents the duality of nature and life. A person of true intent is to be of one heart, one purpose, and one ideal. If their thoughts and actions are not at one with the universe, they are said to have two hearts. Those of two hearts were the first to bring physical illness to humankind. The next spiritual center is the solar plexus. It is the throne of the Creator, which is one reason that it's another brain. Your heart is, by the way, another brain. There's a whole school called heart math that is talking about how strong the heart brain is to pick up the energy of other humans in your vicinity. It's read through heart energy. So look up that, because heart math is quite fascinating in its own right. At any rate, we're going to talk about two hearts and then go down to the gut, which is the throne of the Creator from which the spiritual life of the person is directed. It is thought as the center of spiritual thought. Physically, this is the center of digestion in the body. Now, functional medicine believes that illness, its core point, is your digestive system. So when you get leaky gut, you start to get inflammation, and when you get inflammation, that leads to chronic illness. So it's all together, it's all one philosophy from a variety of different points of view. Unlike the first people, who were very attuned to their spiritual connections, humankind today has two additional lower chakras. They are based in the physical realm, and the first people did not need them. As humans evolved through each successive world, we lost touch with the Creator's plan and became more focused on the physical world instead of on our spiritual self. That's why those are our basic needs, our lower chakras. Many philosophies from different cultures, including those of the Hopi Pueblo, say we are moving towards another pole shift. When the fourth world ends and we move into the fifth world, it is likely that all humankind will see another change in our energy vortexes and our chakras. This time, the change may be back to our less physical side, similar to the first people. In another generation, as we reconnect with our spirituality. A lot of people in the spiritual world who are not American Indians are talking about the shift that's expected to be coming that will connect us to our more spiritual selves. God, I hope so, because I see more unkindness growing in the world instead of more kindness and spirituality. So I hope we are truly moving towards a greater shift back to our spiritual selves. And I'm just going to make an interjection here. Practice kindness every day. It's free. Be the kindness that you want people to practice to you. Practice it randomly. You'd have no idea how much you can touch another person's life with an act of random kindness. It can be as simple as opening up a door for somebody or helping them with their groceries or doing something kind when you're on social media for another human being. But practice kindness. There's too much ugliness and in-your-face hostility going on. And if we want to shift it back to the more spiritual side where we go through that shift, I'm counting on all of you to join me and become an army of one to practice kindness everywhere you go. This will help humanity on our journey back to the home of the Creator. Now you can see how this connects in with Christianity and with the Kabbalah and with other religious philosophies. At some level, there are great similarities between all of them. I was brought up a Christian, I believe as a Christian, but that does not take away from the universal truth of other religious philosophies. Edgar Cayce. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Edgar Cayce. When I got sick, somebody said to me, oh, you have to go look up Edgar Cayce and study what his prophecies were, and I had no clue who he was. So I want to talk about Edgar Cayce and his philosophy with the chakras. He was probably our most famous spiritualist at the turn of the last century, and he has still got a school of thinking that is very strong today. He was the most documented psychic of our time and is known as the father of holistic medicine. Cayce's was the sleeping prophet. He used alternative medical treatments long before it was a trend, starting at the beginning of the 20th century. He would lay down on his couch and channel universal information that was recorded and still followed by believers today. And he was a Christian, by the way. Cayce was known as the father of holistic medicine and recommended treatments such as castor oil packs, chiropractic, and massage, all of which are accepted as practices that do enhance holistic healing today. He also talked about the chakras in his teaching and referred to the 7 spiritual centers of the body where physical, medical, mental, spiritual forces all come together and utilize their connection to all of our glands as part of his healing modality. Now remember, none of these different philosophies or cultures had any connection with each other, and yet they're all finding the same universal truths. I find that very interesting. Now that we have the internet, I can find more information on how all of this related to each other. When I was studying it before I named my business Chakra Designs, I was doing all my research at the library, so I wasn't always knowing where to find information. But the next thing I found on the internet was the connection of Egyptian and African cultures and the Tree of Life, which is the Jewish Kabbalah, and they all connect to each other. Both the Egyptian and African chakra systems corresponded with the Tree of Life, such as the one in the Jewish Kabbalah. Their set of energy bodies, including the chakras, are quite similar to the Hindu tradition. Ancient goddess religions. The oldest known belief systems in our Western philosophy was an unwritten culture that was a female matriarchal culture that ran along the northern side of the Mediterranean. It was a very peaceful culture, and their tradition was handed down verbally from generation to generation. And it was known as the goddess energy, and they believed that the serpent force of goddess's energy awakened the dormant life and power and moved it forward. So it shows up in ancient Egyptian, I sort of jumped that, philosophies, and it also then connected from Africa to the northern Mediterranean to these peaceful matriarchal societies where Athena, by the way, which was the next name I used for a business, was the goddess of arts and crafts. She didn't become the goddess of war until the patriarchal Greeks moved in and took over that whole region and obliterated all the peaceful temples of the matriarchal society and replaced it with strong physical patriarchal attributes. So Athena became the goddess of war when she had been the goddess of arts and crafts and peace. If you study various ancient cultures, you're going to find similarities to the ancient Indian chakra system. Even Chinese medicine highlights 12 meridians and energy paths, and if a meridian is not functioning properly, it affects its connecting chakra. In Jewish mysticism, it's known as the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, that forms a series of sacred geometric grids along the body, and their power points called I'm going to mispronounce this, sephirot. The Greek chakra system is similar to the Indian one with a few variations. Many African cultures were aware of the chakra system as well, and the knowledge from various cultures is always said to complement each other. The Tree of Life is broken down into 7 distinct levels, which directly correlate with the 7 chakras that are found in yogic. So now let's talk about what actually is color. Sir Isaac Newton created the first color wheel in the early 1600s. He proposed 7 wheels of color for his color wheel. And since then, many artists have explored the meaning, emotions, and vibrance of the colors in life. In painting, graphics, and other art connection, color can be classified as primary colors, which is red, yellow, and blue, and secondary colors, which are combinations of the primary colors. And then we have white, which is all colors. It absorbs them all. And there's black, which is no color, which is not considered one of the colors on the color wheel. Color can be classified into hue, chroma, and lightness. Hue is wavelength, chroma is intensity, and lightness is brightness. And wavelengths can be classified into longer and shorter. This all reconnects then to the colors of our chakras. That's my point of going here. Longer wavelengths include red, orange, and yellow, which are considered arousing, invigorating, and warm. Shorter wavelengths involve green, blue, and purple. These are considered calming, relaxing, and cool. Wavelengths for color refer to the energy or frequency in waves in the visible spectrum of white light. White light contains all the colors of light, so seeing color involves how the light is absorbed and then reflected back to us. The color black absorbs all the color frequencies that are in the light, so it doesn't reflect anything, so it reflects no colors at all. White does not absorb color frequencies. In the light, instead, it reflects them all back. Therefore, the actual color that a person sees is based on how the object is absorbing or reflecting light. color and the human body. Aside from objects, color can be absorbed in the body. People perceive a body's coloring as a reflection of health. When somebody is healthy, it shows visibly in the person. We can see the glow in the person's skin, which is reflecting oxygenated blood. If someone is ill, they may be pale or grayish or greenish or bluish. When a person is injured, the body reacts with a variety of colors, such as red from bleeding, or a mix of colors from a wound or a bruise, such as pink, red, yellow, purple, or blue. Colors can actually help health providers access what might be occurring in the body. Yellow can be used to evaluate illness, such as jaundice from yellow fever or yellowing of the tongue, which would be related to type 2 diabetes. However, yellow could also indicate health, such as the yellowness in the skin reflecting more carotenoids, which is one of the things that are in carrots. They make this, if you eat a lot of carrots, your skin gets more yellow, so your skin will reflect the health of the color yellow. Likewise, red could be inflammation, or it could indicate health through robust blood flow. Color in the emotions. Aside from the physical body, thoughts and moods reveal colors. And colors are moods. This is why I want you to immerse yourself in all the different colors of the rainbow. And I want you to enjoy them and soak them all in. Consider the various phrasings that we all use, such as for anger or sadness. Depending upon one's culture and personal experience, culture can have varying effects on people and influence our thoughts, behavior, and feelings. They also are impacting our 7 chakras. Researchers have found that not only people perceive and react to different colors, they also assign specific meaning and emotions to different colors. So red is associated with attractiveness, aggression, and focus. And we use the phrase seeing red. Blue evokes a perception of trustworthiness, but it could also be feeling blue. We get green with envy. That's the downside of our heart energy. Yellow can mean coward. So all of this comes back, there are 2 sides to all of these energy forces, and it's the downside or the darker side of these energy forces that will block our chakras and our flow of energy. Now this is energy. I found that there is actually earth chakras that are physical locations supercharged with energy that helps to keep the planet and all life on it in balance. Now, I never considered that the earth had also 7 major chakras. I live part-time in Sedona. I am very aware and even can feel some of the main vortexes in Sedona, but none of the main vortexes, the most powerful vortexes, are actually in Sedona, even though they have very powerful vortexes there. The most powerful of all the vortexes, by the way, is Bell Rock, which is one of the few locations in the world that has both male and female vortexes. Male vortexes go clockwise, female vortexes go counterclockwise. Male vortexes are where you manifest the future. Female vortexes are where you release, forgive, and let go of the past. And Bell Rock has both, and it's also supposed to have a neutral vortex that beams light all the way up to the universe, which I find fascinating. It's my favorite red rock in Sedona, and it is a very powerful place to go walk. There are considered to be 150 recognized earth chakras recognized within and on the surface of the earth. And they are sometimes deep in the sea and sometimes mountaintops and valleys. These positive and negative energy vortexes are feminine, masculine, and neutral based energy. The 7 chakras are considered to be the strongest and there is one on each continent. They correspond with the chakras that also go up the human spine. So our bodies have the same energy vortexes that Mother Earth has. Similarly, Earth chakras or energy vortexes are connected through a web of ley lines that create an energy field, like meridians. Famous monuments have been built on strong vortexes like the Great Pyramid and Stonehenge. And as you know, there are also very strong vortexes, which I just mentioned in Sedona. From a website called chakrainfo.com, the number one chakra is Mount Shasta. It is considered the root chakra, and it's considered the energy base, the primal source of universal life force that regulates the flow of energy from the earth to life forms, including humans. So that's on Mount Shasta in California. The second chakra is Lake Titicaca. My whole life I've been fascinated to Lake Titicaca, and I can't tell you why. I actually made a joke with somebody that I met that I was going to go to Lake Titicaca, and I'll be darned, I had just returned from Lake Titicaca, and he had just returned from Peru, and he had been to Lake Titicaca, and I couldn't talk about it all, so that taught me to be honest in my authentic self when I was speaking my truth. Lake Titicaca is the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. It is often represented by serpent energy and is located in the midst of multiple ley lines where primal energy takes form and matures. The third chakra, which is our solar plexus, this is the solar plexus of the earth, is in Uluru, U-L-U-R-U, Australia. It is representative of the emotional solar plexus and depicted as the umbilical cord that supplies energy to all living things. And remember, the belly button one goes into where our umbilical cord was on the body, which is why we can access all the energy of our body through that point. Well, there is also an umbilical cord for the earth, and it's in Australia. The heart chakra is in Shaftesbury, Dorset, and Glastonbury in Somerset, England. These locations share the designation of being the center of the Earth's heart and are known for their intense energy production. The Great Pyramids are the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. They are positioned between Mount Sinai and Mount Olives, and this chakra is the voice of the earth. There is some thinking that the pyramids were built to beam also to the universe. Aeon activity is currently located in Glastonbury, England, and it's the sixth chakra, or the pineal gland, or the third eye. A transitory site that opens up energy portals and facilitates the flow of dimensional energy from one realm to another. Similar to the function of the human pineal gland, this earth chakra falls outside the ley line realm and only stays in a single location for 150 to 200 years. So it will eventually move, but currently it is considered to be in Glastonbury, England. The seventh chakra is at Mount Kailas, K-A-I-L-A-S, in Tibet. It's located in the Himalayas. The sacred mountain is the center of the Earth's crown chakra and helps individuals find their footing on their spiritual journey to connect with the divine. Lots of gurus come from the Himalayas and from that area of the world because they're there because they're connecting with the universe. And then the last thing I want to do is my meditation. So I'm right at an hour, but it's important, I think, that we do this since I promised it. The first thing I want you to do is look at something with light and then close your eyes and see if you can visualize the light, because visualizing light is really important in order to do this meditation. So you're going to start by pulling light in to your crown chakra. You're going to pull it in from the universe, and I want you to look at a light and then close your eyes and visualize that light and then pull it in to your crown chakra, and then I want you to take it in and out and in and out and in and out until you don't feel that there's any blocks there, until you can move that energy really easily in and out of your crown. And when it moves really easily in and out of your crown, I want you to bring it down and shoot it out of your third eye. And again, the light is coming down through the universe, through your crown chakra, down and shooting out through your third eye. And then take it in and out and in and out and in and out until the energy moves really smoothly. Now bring the energy down from the universe through your crown chakra, through your third eye, and down to your throat. And this is the chakra that opens in the front and the back. That was the way that I was taught. And so you're going to bring the energy in and out of your throat chakra. Now I get stuck here sometimes. So mentally while I'm doing this, I make sure that I do this until that pathway is completely open and flowing easily. Now you bring the energy down from the universe through your crown, you shoot it out through your third eye, you take it in and out of your throat, and you bring it down to your heart, and you beam it powerfully out of your heart and take it in and out and in and out and in and out until it flows really smoothly. Now you do the same thing. You bring the light down through your crown, through your third eye, in and out of your throat. You beam it strongly from your heart, and now you beam it out of your solar plexus. This is where I feel my greatest blockage. So I spend the extra time here, which I won't today, but I spend a lot of time making sure that my solar plexus, my gut feeling, is wide open and that my energy is moving properly out of this chakra and that this chakra is flowing smoothly. We're going to start again, bringing energy down through the crown, out the third eye, in and out of our throat, out of our heart, out of our solar plexus, and then down to our next chakra, which is where our hormones and our basic needs and our sexuality is, and we're going to shoot light out of that chakra. And we're going to clean it out until the energy works smoothly with that. And then we're going to bring it all the way down through all the different chakras, making sure that the energy is still flowing properly down to our root. And now, instead of taking it in and out of our root, we're going to beam a really strong light down to the earth. We're going to lay light roots as we head towards the center of the earth, laying out roots like a tree all the way down. And those roots are bright lights, and we keep sending out roots as we head down to the center of the earth, where it is a powerful orange glowing ball. And when you get down to the core of the earth, I want you to just sit and feel the warmth of that energy flowing around your roots and up through your root system until you feel totally grounded and that energy has done its purpose to ground you to the earth from the universe all the way down. Now you're going to start to bring the light back up. You bring it back up, shooting it out again, only now it's orange through all these root systems that you have laid, which have grounded you to the earth. And then you're going to bring it all the way up through all of your different energy vortexes and all your different wheels until you come out of your top chakra, and the light is going to just cascade out of your top chakra so that you are surrounded with light. Every part of your body is surrounded by this flowing light. And now I want you to spin it all around you to protect you. And then I want you to take it in the opposite direction, north and south around you, and then take it down your sides and up the other side and down the other side and up again until you are just a large glowing ball. And now I want you to sit there and breathe and enjoy all of this fantastic light and feel how good it feels that all of your chakras are flowing and working the way that they were meant to, so that your energy is running properly through your body. Next podcast, we're going to start talking about the different colors of food, what it means, how you utilize them again to balance your chakras, because light balances light, energy balances energy, color balances color, and there are many ways to keep all of these energy systems flowing properly. And so that's what I want you to walk away with a sense of when you're done watching this podcast. Thank you for indulging me in doing this. I've wanted to do it for a while. It's a subject that I'm very passionate about. And don't be afraid to open up your intuition. You can use this exercise to keep yourself protected. If you open up your intuition, I was afraid for a long time of what psychic abilities I did have, but it's how you connect your heart energy with other people. It's how you connect your spiritual energy with the universe. Don't be afraid of your empathetic feelings, and let them flow and work on making them stronger, because they connect you to the world in a positive way. Thank you. I'll see you next time, and we're going to talk about color, vibrations, and food. Hello, could I see a show of hands if there's anybody out there like me who's tried to lose weight their whole life and not been successful? So you've tried all the different diets available. You've tried Weight Watcher. You've tried Jenny Craig. You've tried all the New York Times bestsellers. And the last time you did it, you started off great, just like all the other times. And you started losing weight, and then all of a sudden you fell off the horse. And before you know it, you're eating fast food and processed food again with all that sugar, and you don't even know why. And in the end, you've gained more weight than where you started out. So you now are beating yourself up that you just don't have the willpower to win. If that's you, I want to address the elephant in the room, because 9 years ago, I got autoimmune disease and started researching because I didn't want the pain that came with the autoimmune disease, and the added benefit was I lost the weight along the way. So let me tell you what happens. Big Food doesn't want you to win. They've rigged the system. They've put so many chemicals into fast food and processed food that they light up the brain like a pinball machine. It's the same part of the brain that goes off for cocaine and heroin, and you feel great when you eat that food, but it's not making you feel good, and you're starving your body for nutrition because it's loaded with empty calories. So you're getting fat eating that food, and it's not giving your body what you need. And it's turning off all your own feel-good hormones of serotonin and dopamine and even your insulin, which keeps your moods even. But worse than that, there's two little hormones here at the back of your neck called ghrelin and leptin, and they don't work, and they regulate your appetite because all those chemicals have subdued them, so you don't even know when you're full. So what did I learn to do instead? I'm eating the GLAD diet, loaded with all the phytonutrients that my body needs to be healthy and to thrive and to boost my immune system and to ditch the pain. And along the way of eating all this live food, I lost 60 pounds without dieting. You see, I was starving my body for nutrition when I was eating the standard American diet, and now that I'm giving my body all those beautiful phytonutrients, it's not holding on to it anymore, so it's just dropping it automatically. So don't eat the standard American diet. I don't want you to get a standard American disease, and I certainly don't want you to die the standard American death. Instead, start eating the GLAD diet, because by eating all those beautiful phytonutrients, you will be healthier and you will live long and thrive. Thank you.